Welcome back to the deep dive. I have to admit, when I first saw the topic for today, my eyes glazed over just a little bit. We're talking about customer experience, or CX.
CX.
Yeah, and I feel like for the last decade, CX has been this corporate buzzword. It gets thrown around in every boardroom, but it always felt a little, I don't know, fluffy.
Flustered.
You know what I mean? It felt like a soft skill.
Yeah.
Like it was all about whether the cashier smiled at you or if the website had a pleasing color palette.
Or if the hold music was soothing jazz instead of thrash music.
Exactly. It just felt like vibes.
I get that.
Yeah.
And for a long time, that is exactly how it was treated. It was the nice to have. If you had a surplus in the budget, you sent your team to a seminar on politeness. It was categorized as soft value.
Right. Soft value. Hard to measure. Impossible to prove to the CFO that's actually doing anything for the bank account. But, and this is why we're here today, that era is dead. We have a stack of sources today that paint a very different picture, specifically a report titled Customer Experience 2026, Real Measurable Results with Customer Platform. And it pulls some really heavy data from HubSpot's State of Marketing 2025.
And the headline isn't about smiles anymore.
No, it's about survival.
That is a dramatic shift, isn't it?
It is. We're going from be nice to survive.
It sounds dramatic, but the data really supports it.
Yeah.
I think the mission of this deep dive is to bridge that gap for you. We need to explain how CX is shifting from being the cherry on top to being the actual cake.
The cake itself.
Yeah, the primary driver of revenue and competitive advantage by the time we hit 2026. This isn't about feelings anymore. It's about physics, business physics.
Okay, I like business physics. So let's look at the evidence. The report references a survey of over 1,200 global marketers. That's a huge sample size.
It is. And what stands out to you in those numbers?
Well, when they were asked what the single most important change in the industry was over the past year, 44% of them didn't say AI. They didn't say social media algorithms. They pointed directly at focusing on customer experience. Almost half the industry is saying this is the thing.
Which just signals a fundamental change in the questions businesses are asking.
Sure.
10 years ago, the question was, is the customer happy?
Right.
Now the question is, how does this specific interaction impact the bottom line?
So it's less, do they like us, and more, did this make us money?
It's a bit more nuanced than that, I'd say. It's more about, did this interaction secure future money? But essentially, yes. The source material is very clear that this shift isn't happening because businesses suddenly developed a conscience.
Right.
It's happening because the environment has become incredibly hostile for anyone who ignores it.
The report lists a few reasons for this hostility, and the first one seems obvious, but I think we really underestimate it.
Choice.
Choice, yeah, excessive choice.
And not just choice, but transparency. Think about how you bought a TV 15 years ago. You went to a store, you looked at 3 models, and you probably picked the middle one.
Right. Maybe you asked the guy in the blue shirt which one was best.
Now, you're sitting on your couch, you have 10 tabs open, you're comparing refresh rates, pixel density, warranties, shipping speeds across 5 different retailers.
You can compare the entire global market in 30 seconds.
And the friction of switching is basically...
I don't like the shipping date on site A. I just click over to site B.
Exactly. And that raises the stakes to a terrifying level. The source explicitly says that a single bad experience is now enough to make a customer switch brands. Immediately.
Wow.
There's no buffer. In the old days, loyalty bought you 3 strikes. Now, you barely get 1.
That is terrifying for a business owner. But it leads us to this concept in the text that I really found fascinating. They call CX the game changer of modern marketing. But isn't the product the game changer? Like, if I build a better mousetrap, don't I win?
Not anymore. And this is the part that I think is hard for product-focused founders to swallow. It all comes down to commoditization. In the modern world, products are so easily copied.
Oh, I see this all the time in software. One company launches a cool new AI feature, and 2 weeks later, everyone has it.
It's the feature parity trap. If you come out with a revolutionary new feature today, your competitor will have a clone of it next month, and they might even sell it cheaper. You can't win a long-term war on features alone. Technology just moves too fast.
So the moat around your business isn't the code or the widget itself.
The moat is the experience, how it feels to buy from you, how easy it is to get help, how the brand anticipates your needs. That is the one differentiator competitors cannot easily steal.
They can copy your code,
but they can't copy your culture. They can't copy your understanding of the customer.
Okay, so we've established the stakes. CX is the new battleground because everything else is a commodity. But here is where I get confused.
Okay.
If everyone knows this, if 44% of marketers are shouting about it, why is customer service still so objectively terrible sometimes?
Ah, that is the disconnection. I mean, we all have that story. You call the cable company, you enter your account number, you wait on hold for 20 minutes, and then a human picks up, and the very first thing they ask is,
And I have your account number.
yes. And I just want to scream, why is that still happening in 2026?
It's not because they want to annoy you. It's because of what the report calls the disconnected reality. It all comes down to silos.
I feel like silos is another one of those corporate buzzwords we just gloss over. What does it actually mean here?
Okay, picture the company not as one building, but as a series of separate islands. You have island marketing, island sales, and island service. And here's the kicker. They don't speak the same language, and they definitely don't share the same database.
So the fog of war sets in.
Exactly. And the report identifies three main culprits here. The data is low quality, the data is scattered everywhere, and data privacy rules are getting tighter. When a business has scattered data, your address is in a spreadsheet on island sales, but your complaint history is in some legacy system on island service, they literally cannot see who you are. And the text calls this the assumption trap.
Yes, and this is so dangerous. When you can't see the reality because your data is a mess, you start designing experiences based on what you think the customer wants.
Or what you assume they're doing.
You're just guessing.
And usually guessing wrong. The report breaks down this departmental disconnect, and it's almost like a Trajan play. You have the marketing team promising one thing.
Right. Marketing's blasting out emails promising a seamless white glove experience.
And then sales gets involved.
And sales is just trying to close the deal, so maybe they're offering terms or making promises that aren't actually standard.
And then the poor service team is left holding the bag.
And they have zero context. The customer calls in, angry about a promise sales made, and the service agent is just looking at a blank screen. They don't know what marketing promised. They don't know what sales negotiated. They are flying completely blind.
So when I scream at the agent, I just explain this to the other guy. Oh, I'm essentially yelling at a victim of their own company's internal architecture?
Precisely. And the result, as the text points out, is a disjointed experience. And what was the rule we started with?
A disjointed experience leads to switching?
It leads to failure.
So we have a high-stakes environment where one mistake can kill you and an internal structure that is practically designed to generate those mistakes. That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it is.
But the report is titled, Real Measurable Results with Customer Platform, so I'm assuming there is a way out of this mess.
There is. The core solution proposed in the source is moving to a customer platform, and that platform provides a single customer view.
Single customer view. It sounds a bit Orwellian, but also very efficient. What does that look like in practice?
It's the antidote to the island problem. Instead of marketing, sales, and service having their own little databases and spreadsheets, everyone connects to one central platform. It becomes the source of truth.
So when I call support, they can actually see that I opened the marketing email 5 minutes ago and that I talked to a sales rep yesterday.
Yes. The service agent sees the entire movie, not just the little scene they walked into. They know your context before they even pick up the phone.
That makes so much sense. And the report says this is what enables true personalization. Now, I have to pause here because personalization is another one of those terms. Usually it just means I get an email that says, hey, first name, buy more stuff.
That is low-level personalization. That is 2015 personalization. The report highlights this staggering stat. 96% of marketers confirm that personalized experiences increase sales. But they are not talking about hi, Bob.
So what does real 2026 level personalization look like according to the text?
It involves 3 layers. First, communication that fits the context, so knowing where you are in the journey. Second, rapid response times. But the third one is the most powerful. They call it the aha moment.
The aha moment. That sounds almost magical. What is it?
It's about presenting the offer or the solution that the customer needs before they even ask for it. It's proactive.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah.
Because that sounds really hard to do.
Okay, sure. Imagine you buy a smart printer for your office. A single customer view system knows you bought it. It also knows the average usage rate for a business your size. So 3 weeks in, the system calculates that you are likely running low on ink.
Okay.
Now, the old way is to wait for you to run out, get frustrated, drive to the store, find out they're out of stock, and then get angry at the brand.
I've lived that life.
The aha moment is sending you a notification 2 days before you run out saying, looks like you're low. Click here to ship a refill overnight.
See, that doesn't feel like selling. That feels like you've got my back.
Exactly. That's the difference between spam and service.
Yeah.
You solve the problem the customer didn't even know they were about to have.
And that creates this strategic unity the report talks about. If everyone sees the same person, the whole strategy becomes consistent.
It turns the organization into a single organism instead of a collection of severed limbs.
Which brings us to the part of the deep dive where we have to eat our vegetables. We have to talk about the math.
Yeah.
Because the intro promised we were moving away from feelings and into measurable results.
This is critical. I mean, if you're a business leader listening to this, you cannot manage what you do not measure. In the old days, CX metrics were soft. We use customer satisfaction surveys, CSAT.
The old rate our service on a scale of 1 to 5.
Right. And while that's nice to know, it's a vanity metric. You can have high satisfaction and still go bankrupt. The source material emphasizes that in 2026, the metrics must answer the question, did this make money?
So what are the specific KPIs, the key performance indicators, that the source argues we absolutely need to track now?
There's a specific list, and it's very focused on financial health. First and foremost is CLV, customer lifetime value.
I've heard of this. It's basically predicting how much a customer is worth over their entire relationship with you, not just today's sale.
Correct. If you improve the experience, the CLV must go up. If it doesn't, your experience improvements aren't actually working. Then you have retention rate, are people staying, and conversion rate within the journey.
Meaning, do they take the next step we want them to take?
Right. But there's one metric here that I think is the most interesting evolution. It's called Analytical Net Promoter Score, NPS.
I know, NPS. That's the how likely are you to recommend us to a friend question. How is analytical NPS different?
Regular NPS is a thermometer. It tells you the patient has a fever. It says you got a 6 out of 10, but it doesn't tell you why.
So you know they're unhappy, but you don't know if it's because the product broke or because the delivery driver was rude.
Exactly. Analytical NPS connects that score to the operational data. It correlates the 6 out of 10 with the fact that the delivery was 2 days late. So it tells you the score is low because of shipping. It gives you the diagnosis, not just the temperature.
That is a huge difference. And finally, the report lists revenue generated from existing customers.
The ultimate metric. Companies are obsessed with new business. They spend millions acquiring new customers. But the report argues that if your CX is working, your existing customers should be spending more. If they aren't, you just have a leaky bucket.
Now, tracking all of this sounds like a complete nightmare of spreadsheets. How do you actually process all this data? The report does mention AI's role here.
Yeah, this is where AI stops being a gimmick and becomes an engine. The source mentions that AI allows for the analysis of feedback, support tickets, sentiment, all of it, quickly and accurately.
Because no human being can read 10,000 support tickets and find the pattern.
Exactly. A human reads 10 tickets and gets tired. The AI reads 10,000 tickets in seconds and says, hey, 14% of your negative reviews are mentioning the new packaging is hard to open.
That removes all the guesswork.
It strips away the softness. It turns, I feel like customers are annoyed, into, we know 14% are annoyed and we know exactly why. That is how you turn CX into a hard science.
So let's bring this all together. We've covered a lot of ground today. We started with the idea that CX is undergoing a massive rebranding from a nice-to-have vibe to a financial engine.
That's the big takeaway. CX is no longer just for the customer support team to worry about. It is an organizational strategy. It is the CEO's problem now.
And the mechanism for winning in 2026 is this single customer view. It's about tearing down those walls between marketing, sales, and service so that everyone sees the same reality.
Yes. The businesses that win will be the ones that connect data across the whole organization. Because that connection is the only way to get to that aha moment, to anticipate the need before the customer even asks.
And finally, we have to stop guessing and start measuring. We need to trade in our smiles for customer lifetime value and retention rates.
We do. The data is there. We just have to be willing to look at it.
Now, before we sign off, I want to leave the listener with something to really mull over. We talked about how fast products are copied.
Right.
You build a better mousetrap, someone build a cheaper one tomorrow.
So if I can connect this to the bigger picture, I want you to ask yourself a hard question. Look at your business. Look at your product. And imagine your biggest, fiercest competitor.
Okay.
Imagine they copied your product feature for feature tomorrow. Same specs, same color, same price.
The Pepsi challenge scenario?
Exactly. If the product is identical, would your customers stay with you? Or would they jump ship for a 5% discount?
Oof. That is a tough question to answer,
Well, it
honestly.
is. But if the answer is, I don't know, or probably not, then you have a serious vulnerability. Because in 2026, your customer experience, how you treat them, how you know them, how you value them, might be the only reason someone stays. If the experience isn't sticky, the product won't save you.
That is a sobering thought, but a necessary one. The era of vibes is over. The era of the customer platform is here.
It is indeed.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Stop guessing, start measuring, and maybe go check if your sales team knows what your support team is doing. We'll see you on the next one.